Police say the teenagers parked their car, then approached another group of teens standing here. There was an exchange of words followed by several rounds of gunfire. A 16-year-old boy died at the scene. The car that hit little Risa threw her 70 feet. Pierce County Sheriff's Department says there's no evidence the driver even attempted to slow down.
Biologists may never know exactly what happened to the little calf, but they have gained a greater understanding about how very delicate these animals are. Teenagers say they make a game of speeding down this hill to test just how fast they can go in their cars. But quite a nice accident taught them a lesson.
Driven to Harborview Hospital and are still there at this time. Also, there were some people at the elementary school 2 blocks away that were evacuated.
A light, flaky snow falling in North Federal Way right now. Federal Way was one of the areas hardest hit by the snowfall today. As you can see, people here actually were seeing anywhere from a trace of snow all the way up to 2 inches. Once the suspect entered the house, he kept throwing pipe bombs. This is one of the 9 that he threw. The Rydell family is lucky to be alive today.
Anger and shock filled Patricia Wilbur's home tonight. She got word hours ago that her daughter Risa, a 6th grader, was hit by a car right in front of her home.
I can't imagine what kind of person would have done this. To not stop, to treat her like a dog and just hit her and leave her in the ditch.
12-year-old Risa got up early to cut out newspaper articles for a current events class at school. Risa left her house on Waller Road just before 8 o'clock and walked across the street to get the morning paper, like she does every morning. That's when someone driving by hit her.
The car that hit little Risa threw her 70 feet. Pierce County Sheriff's Department says there's no evidence the driver even attempted to slow down.
Emergency crews rushed Risa to Good Samaritan Hospital.
Once they turned off the life support, her little heart just kept trying to go. It would go flat and then it would try to start up again, but just couldn't do it.
The little girl died a few hours later. Pierce County Sheriff's deputies are still searching for a suspect and a car, but they are investigating one stolen vehicle they found about 1.5 miles from the scene.
There's a possibility that this could be the vehicle, but until we process it through forensics, we can't be sure.
Tonight, Patricia and her family can only grieve the loss of their daughter and hope that whoever hit her will come forward.
I mean, he killed my little girl for nothing.
Terry Talaferro, Como News 4. Even in captivity, the birth of the baby whale seemed very natural. First the tail, then the whale freed itself. The calf took a breath. And with the help of another whale and Mayak, the mother, the little baby continued to try to swim on her own. It was the first sign that something was wrong.
I think they're working on trying to keep the calf away from the wall, and they're a little bit nervous right now. So what we need to
After showing its head twice, the newborn whale went down and stayed down.
He's below the water. Go, go.
A staff biologist took a dive to save her. She wasn't breathing.
Keep going, try to clear lungs. Keep going.
They tried to keep the whale's heart pumping. They put a tube down the blowhole to give her air. As Mayak nervously watched. The wait was too long for everyone. After 20 minutes, it was over. The little whale had drowned. A very emotional day for a staff who had worked months to keep Mayak healthy enough for delivery.
Biologists may never know exactly what happened to the little calf, but they have gained a greater understanding about how very delicate these animals are.
At day's end, Mayak was left to swim alone. Terry Talaferro, Como News 4. Meet Donnie, Abelino, and Anthony. They're cleaning up Seattle and cleaning up their lives. All of them were homeless. Now they have jobs.
Well, I am making money the old-fashioned way. I'm earning it.
Anthony spent 2 hours on this pole.
How old are some of these posters?
Well, the oldest one I've seen is 1989. 1989 up on Pike Street. Trudy, my supervisor said she saw one in 1969 on Queen Anne.
The paper is 12 inches thick. It's a tough job, but he says it's turned his life around.
I wonder if Muhammad Ali got his start this way.
He grew up wanting to be a boxer, but 17 years ago, he was hit by a drunk driver. The pain of his injuries got him addicted to morphine, then to heroin. After a few bouts with the law, he wanted to change for the better.
So a lot of people think homeless people have just been derelicts all their life. That's not the case. You know, a lot of us are just a victim of circumstances.
Across the street, Abelino Amborcio Montamo works on another pole. He's from Guatemala. He says the pole is filled with a lot of trash, but he's happy to have work. Last little bit of paper is coming off the pole that Donnie Lambert worked on.
It looks a lot better.
He came from Jamaica to find a better life. He says this job is giving him hope and pride.
You know, it always feels good to start a job, you know, and then to look at it, the end results and say, wow, and feel good about what you've done.
Next time you see a pole without any posters, think of these men. They think they're doing good work, and it's good to have the work. Terry Talaferro, Como News 4. They were just standing on the corner, watching all the stars go by.
I saw him about 20 feet away, standing. I saw him through glass, but boy, he is very good looking.
She's talking about Michael Douglas. Megan Spellman was happy to catch a glimpse. Howard Hayes, on the other hand, was starstruck.
I wanted his autograph as he walked by. I had a pen in my pocket and a piece of paper, and I got nervous and I couldn't go up to him.
I know you get...
Chuck Beek makes coffee at Monorail Espresso, a block away from the set. Crew members often stop by to chat, but Beek says he's seen Michael Douglas about 4 times just today.
He kind of said, I said, hi, Michael, good morning. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, boy, that was pretty exciting. I gave him a free cup of coffee for that.
Down the street is the trailer park, where the cast changes costume and the crew prepares for the next shoot.
Yeah, spotted Michael Douglas. Haven't said anything to him. Try to keep out of his way.
Keep out of his way?
Hi, how are you?
I think not.
Pleasure, nice to meet you.
How's the filming going?
The filming's going pretty well. It's been a little warm, but we're kind of nice cooling off, having a nice Seattle day today.
And with just a few words, he was gone, off to film another scene. But in minutes, he was out the door again, signing autographs and enjoying a little conversation.
You're looking good.
Trying, man.
They like Seattle.
I like it. Move on.
An autograph on a latte cup? Only in Seattle.
Just waiting on Demi Moore. See if she comes by.
What are you going to say to Demi when you see her?
I'm going to try to get a signature or autograph and maybe a kiss right there.
Or if not there, maybe on the latte cup. Terry Talaferro, Como News 4.
Now, you can look at the traffic right now, and it's your typical rush hour, sometimes slow, sometimes very fast-moving traffic. But this morning accident was a shattering sight to see.
24 tons of shattered glass covered an entire section of the I-5 off-ramp onto 520 this morning, and traffic came to a standstill. Police say it all happened when an unidentified brown passenger car pulled in front of this semi-truck carrying over 100 sheets of glass. It swerved to avoid hitting the car and then jackknifed on the freeway.
It took evasive action to avoid that collision, and the trailer started whipping back and forth. The driver of the semi was unable to bring the trailer back under control.
The truck driver wasn't hurt, but broken glass flew over a 50-yard stretch of the freeway. But it didn't end there. The driver of this car smashed into a concrete barrier as he tried to avoid the glass and the truck. Amazingly, no one was hurt. But Department of Transportation workers stayed at the scene for 4 hours, shoveling and sweeping the mess. A diesel spill from the semi made the problem even worse.
That's kind of a process of sanding it and sweeping it up and sanding it and re-sweeping it. Just want to make sure, you know, that it's safe for when we reopen it.
While a tow truck tried to turn the semi right side up, the traffic that came to a dead stop at 7:20 this morning started slowly moving again 2 hours later.
Now, the glass from that spill was taken to a dump. Unfortunately, they couldn't recycle it because of all the sand, rock, and debris inside. The police are still looking for that car, a brown passenger car that apparently left the scene without anyone noticing, except for a few witnesses on the other side who were traveling westbound. Now, police will be interviewing those witnesses, and we will be following the story closely and keeping you updated on what they found out.
Again, Terry, what's going on down there?
Well, Kathy, we have a light, flaky snow falling in North Federal Way right now. Federal Way was one of the areas hardest hit by the snowfall today. As you can see, people here actually were seeing anywhere from a trace of snow all the way up to 2 inches. Now, as I put my unbooted foot on this lawn here, you can see the snow just turns to slush. But if we walk over on the street here where the roads are, cars are driving very easily today because there's really no problem on the roads. Now, just northeast of here is where we really saw the white stuff. In Preston and also in the Summit area near Bellevue, that's where the snow was really falling today, as we can see on the rooftops. Right here in Bellevue, or rather in Federal Way right now, we have temperatures in the 30-degree range. The question is, will the snow remain tonight? And Steve Poole will have more on that later on. For now, I'm Terry Talaferro reporting live from Federal Way. Back to you.
Something in my mind, back in my mind told me to tell her, just stay here, Jamie. Because I guess it was telling me to tell her the trouble was coming her way.
And trouble did come. Too much trouble for Carolyn's 14-year-old daughter Jamie to handle. Jamie was gunned down early Friday morning in this lot right across the street from Garfield High School. Though her daughter was just 14, Carolyn says Jamie had a habit of staying out late, a need to be with friends. As she had said so many times before, Carolyn warned her daughter not to leave on Friday night, but Jamie wouldn't listen.
Something she had to do. And whether I let her do it or not, she's going to do it.
Jamie apparently jumped out a bedroom window and took a bus ride for a night on the street that would be her last.
I think a lot of kids know what kind of thing it was. It was something wild and wicked. They have to be there.
Some reports suggest Jamie got into an argument with another girl over a jacket before the shooting. Police aren't confirming that tonight, but whether or not it's true, Carolyn says nothing is worth shooting her daughter over.
The family says Jamie had a lot of friends who may have seen something happen early that Friday morning. Many questions still go unanswered tonight, and now the mother is asking anyone to come forward.
I know somebody knows something about this. And don't be afraid, just God will protect us.
And this mother hopes brings some peace to her home. Terry Talaferro, Como News 4. This stream moves, but there's little life here. This is a place where salmon come to spawn. But here and all around us, the salmon are disappearing.
Each one of you is going to come by and get a cup with a little salmon in it.
Today, these kids are planting new life in this stream.
Tip it gently, right. Now, shock a real. Okay. There he goes.
It's called Salmon Release. Last November, local donors helped fund this program to teach kids the history, the dangers, and the importance of salmon. The children of the Lake Washington School District watched and cared for 300 coho salmon eggs incubating in school aquariums. Today, they're giving them names.
His name is Crawl. Kendall Gill.
And letting them go.
Okay, bye-bye.
And hoping they'll bring even more salmon back to this stream.
There you go. You know, the fish planted in these streams may not survive, but the concern planted in these kids may last a lifetime.
At one time, there was probably enough salmon in Puget Sound to feed the entire population, and that we've kind of destroyed that. So I thought we'll start with the young people and have them understand what a valuable asset salmon is to this area and this region. And
the salmon industry started heading into trouble about 3 years ago when pollution, logging, overfishing, and development in their natural habitat almost destroyed the salmon home. It's a concept these kids don't have a hard time understanding, and they hope to make a difference.
They start out in Forbes Creek, and then they keep going through different places, and then they make it to Puget Sound, and they grow really big.
The fish are swimming away today, but in the 7 months these kids watch them grow, they learn to understand and perhaps to continue to care about salmon.
Enough about candy hearts and pillow hearts and chocolate hearts. What about broken hearts? Today, this Valentine was delivered in their honor. It's a heart of steel, less than affectionately known as the Heartbreaker.
It's for people who've had their heart broken. Write their name on it, hit it with a sledgehammer. For all the broken-hearted Valentines.
A man named Subculture Joe came up with the idea. You may remember him from last Labor Day. Subculture Joe designed the ball and chain attached to Seattle's Hammering Man. He installed it without permission as a joke. Now, 5 months and 3 1/4 tons of 14-gauge steel later, Joe and his 30-member crew have put this heart in motion. Subculture Joe wasn't around today when we came by, but many lonely hearts were. And somewhat like a couple in love, words could barely describe what they were feeling.
They don't make Hallmark cards for this. So.
All kinds of broken-hearted people were writing down the names of their heartbreakers. For 13-year-old Alan Pierce, it was almost too big of a heartbreak to handle. About 12 feet away from the heart was Cupid's crumpled arrow that had fallen short. Shaped like a seesaw, it rocked as a playful reminder of love's highs and lows. Of course, no one was really looking for Cupid today, just a way to say goodbye to their unbeloved.
I feel much better now.
We knew you would.
Okay. About 200 people came out today to sign the names of their ex-loves on this huge heart, and as you can see, they're still pounding away as we speak. There's still time to come out and take a swing if you want to. It'll be here till 6 o'clock.
The end.
As the news traveled across the airwaves to radio listeners, all you could hear was shock and devastation. At the end, the Seattle radio station where some of Nirvana's biggest songs first played, the call started around 10 this morning and just wouldn't stop.
Kurt Cobain of Nirvana.
He died?
Well, we haven't got anything confirmed, but it looks as though he might have taken his life.
Oh, my gosh.
As the grunge scene and Nirvana were exploding into fame almost 3 years ago, this radio station signed on. Music director Marco Collins says he first met Nirvana's lead singer at a Seattle concert and soon befriended his family.
Well, I mean, it's devastating to me, you know. He's an artist that I've got a lot of respect for. I think he's an amazing songwriter, and it's a sad thing. It's a really sad thing.
Across town, Sub Pop, the record company that released Nirvana's first album, was also flooded with calls. Many they would not answer. Most days, a few orders for the first album would trickle in. Today, the phone rang off the hook with requests for more than 30,000 copies.
It's like a real waste, somebody that young, that talented. Yeah, it's crazy.
Walking down the streets of Seattle, it was easy to see news of Kurt Cobain's death hit the city hard today. And though his fans knew he was gone, they wouldn't let us forget his music.
Yeah, we're hoping people will remember him more. Definitely. We'll probably, be playing this a lot more. Try and get all the albums and play it all week if we can.
No one knows exactly what led Cobain to take his own life, but some fans suspect it may have had something to do with reported drug problems.
I personally think it's a symptom. I think it goes a lot deeper than just the drugs, but once you get into the drugs, there's no way to get out.
I don't make sense of it right now. I think that it's going to take a while before anybody can make sense of it.
In the words of one fan, Nirvana's creative lifeline has been severed, but Cobain's music will live on. Terry Talaferro, Como News 4.